All right. The self-promotion is over.
That's it.
And now it's time to kick off with an extra special segment that we like to call What's Wrong with Bucky?
And now, what's wrong with Bucky?
What's wrong, son?
You have to ask.
No, I don't, because I saw the TikTok video, and my favorite part about the whole video is at the very beginning, Bucky goes,
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to gather myself.
Yeah, trying to gather yourself. Now, listen, I agree with everything that you said. I agree with your presentation and everything. I even played a little bit at the top of the show. The only thing that I did not agree with is you editorializing, because you kind of ruin your point when you say you saw the Atlanta Falcons play with guts. See, right there, no. No. Everything else was straight up like fact.
They didn't play with guts?
I'm not saying that they didn't, but if you're talking to a regular person that don't care about the Falcons, they're going to be like, this dude's obviously a homer. Your points were valid without being homer. But that is the most egregious. Like, the only thing that even rivals that is the no call in the NFC Championship game with Saints Rams. Right now, there was another. Bucky, of course, is talking about the ridiculous roughing the passer call on Tom Brady after the Falcons had stopped Tampa Bay for the second time.
Second time they called a bogus holding call on our D-back, which was bogus. But I went, I saw that and I thought, you know what? Okay, maybe he did have his hand on him and I just didn't catch it. Maybe I didn't see it. And then when the second we hold them again, and we had been running the ball right down their throats, we could have ground and pounded, run the clock out. At least we would have had a shot. What I found out,
at least a chance.
A chance. But what I found out was that the official, and I wrote his name down, and I can't. The official that made that call, I want to send him dirty letters. But the official that made that call has a reputation, and he's made a few bad calls, and apparently he's been on thin ice for it. So I hope he gets. Listen, I understand protecting the quarterback. I get that, but when the game is on the line, that is not the time to call something like that. Especially when Grady Jarrett did everything he could to not slam him.
Dude, I mean, he just grabbed him and
Arthur Smith was on the sideline just going.
And look, son,
kidding me?
I hate the Falcons, but that's bullshit. Yeah. And I tell you something else that I did not like to see. I tell you,
everybody's saying it's not because it's Tom Brady, bull, caca, whatever you want to say.
Yes, boy.
It's because he got up going,
where's the flag?
Touch me.
I need it. So, Bucky, what about in the Monday night game with the roughing the passer call against Derek Carr?
Oh, I know.
Now, all right. So here's the thing.
But now they're scared.
So the official who threw the flag was behind the play. Okay. Now, to him, it looked like Jones came down on top of him, full body weight and everything, which you cannot do. But once you see the reverse angle and saw that he actually put his hands down to stop himself from going on, which is what they're now supposed to do.
Yes.
Right?
But they're abiding by the rules and they're still not. Correct. So why can't they pick the flag up? Why can't they go and look at it and pick the flag up? They do that for other things.
But here's the thing. They could have. They just chose not to.
They chose not to in Atlanta. They better start thinking that.
They got that mandate from the league office, right? Not only that, but there's this whole other new conspiracy theory going on with Teddy Bridgewater. I digress, right? Because we got to get to this point. So my point is, but if the players union, is not going to say, "Hey, look, we don't want the NFL to keep our guys safe by lightening up on the unnecessary roughness," because that's kind of foreign to them. They're all about safety. But you look at the defensive players, we're not too far away from people wearing mini pads and having two-hand touch sensors on them. If they're not going to let them hit, they're not going to let them tackle, then what are we going to let them do? All right.
How are they supposed to hit the quarterback? How are they supposed to sack the quarterback?
I know. They tried this instant replay a couple years ago, remember, with the pass interference, right? And the NFL was bound and determined that they were not going to institute it. And you saw it yourself, how many times pass interference got challenged. And it was blatant pass, and they're like, nah, whatever was on the field stood, right? And this is what they're going to do. But you know what really makes me mad about the whole thing, Buck, is that after that, roughing the passer was called against Kansas City for the rest of the game, the Raiders had 7 enforced penalties. The Chiefs only had 2, and they were on back-to-back plays. The Raiders got called for a defensive holding on 4th and whatever it was, 15 or 16 or whatever, when the Chiefs missed a field goal. Defensive holding that they never went back and showed the replay. I've seen the replay, right? I watched it. Not egregious. It's something that never gets called, right? Yeah. But it's a 5-yard penalty that gave them an automatic first down, and Kansas City went down. It changes
the course of the game. And unless it's blatant and unless it's obvious, they cannot do something that's going to change the course of the game.